coaches John Hayes, Perry Orlando, and Chad Salisbury. Umpire behind the plate, David Lovelace from Kilgore, Texas. First base, Rusty Taylor from U Springs, Texas. Second, Damian Hopkins from Gaston, South Carolina. Third base, Joseph Stone from Albany, Georgia. Mr. Lovelace, the field is yours.
Winners bracket contest between Louisiana and South Carolina about to get underway. As South Carolina, the home team, and Louisiana, the visiting team tonight. James Hardy with you. It should be a good ball game to wrap things up here on field number 5 for the DYB Majors World Series, as we'll give you that opportunity to chime in later on in the broadcast. South Carolina, the visiting team, the home team, as they will take the field first. As Cameron Scott, the pitcher for South Carolina, the starting pitcher, will get his warm-ups in and will face this starting lineup for Louisiana, the visiting team, wearing their purple tops, the gold numbers and letters, and the white bottoms. Reed Lavelle, the catcher, batting first. Lauren Wells, the left fielder, will bat second, followed by Ethan Judice, the shortstop, batting third. Alonzo Alexander, the cleanup batter, in center field. John David Hidalgo at second base, batting fifth. Dylan Steiner batting sixth, one of the reserve defenders. Landon Walden, the pitcher, batting seventh. Dan Eibert, the first baseman, batting eighth. Dylan Enzina, the third baseman, batting ninth. Followed by Gabe Hebert in right field, batting 10th. Carter Fauchot, 11th, and Jeremy Pradilla, the reserve defenders and offensive players. As keep in mind, of course, every player has to play in the field one inning and also get at least one at-bat offensively. Looking at the South Carolina defense, Hunter Gomes in left, Johnson in center, and in right field, Landon Gomes, as the first pitch is popped up. Shallow left field, as going out and making the catch will be the shortstop, Minale, for out number 1. So, wasting no time, Cameron Scott gets the first out of the inning as our game time at 7:55 local time. And tell you what, we've got just about perfect conditions weather-wise for this winner's bracket game on a Tuesday night in North Carolina. A swing and a miss for Lauren Wells for strike one. So one down. Looking at the rest of the defense, Salisbury at third. Mentioned Minale at shortstop. As a bounce serve to the right side for Hayes, as he will field and throws. Not in time. Lauren Wells hustling down the line at first, beats out the throw from second, as Louisiana gets a base runner aboard on an infield single. Ethan Judice to the plate, the hero for Louisiana in their last game 2 games ago in a 1-0 victory over Florida in the bottom of the 6th inning. The first pitch fastball outside for ball 1. Now, we did see Cameron Scott a couple of games ago against Alabama as he absolutely dominated the Alabama starting batting order. 4 shutout innings as a line drive slicing foul by about 6 feet down the right field line. And once again, get your scoreboard poker ready out there as far as the balls, strikes, and outs. If you've been watching the entire day in tournament, those balls, strikes, and outs in the jersey number, as we're at 1 ball and 1 strike. So we'll go ahead and take the hand here. 1 ball, the 3 aces, and the 5 kicker as far as the jersey number. Runner at first, 1 out. Pitch is grounded over to the left side for Salisbury. Goes to second for 1 as Hayes covers and gets the force out there. Judice on at first base. Wells retired on the 5-4 fielder's choice. So 2 down. Runner still at first base for Alonzo Alexander, the starter in the pitching mound for Louisiana against Florida. As the pitch from Scott, high pop-up. In fact, that was a high chopper, rather, and stepping on first, but not in time, is Tavermina. There's a weird play there. In fact, taking advantage of that high chopper is Judice as he goes all the way to third on the play. So that will go down as a hit as it was bounced right into the plate and took a high bounce, almost as high as a pop-up, as Alexander hustles down the line to keep the inning alive. John David Hidalgo, the second baseman, with the opportunity to get Louisiana on the board first. The Louisiana state champs out of Franklin, Louisiana. South Carolina state champs out of North Charleston. Swing and a foul tip. As they'll say, will say a foul tip on a hit and run that time, so no balls and one strike. The winner goes into a winner's bracket semifinal tomorrow as a swing and a miss as Alexander goes down to second and takes second base as the throw back to third, not in time. So no balls and two strikes. Two down, number 12, John David Hidalgo to the plate. Now with runners at second and third. Pitch called. Strike three on the outside corner. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Hidalgo as he goes down looking. And no runs on two hits, no errors, and two left in scoring position for Louisiana. As we go now to the bottom of the first inning, it is Louisiana nothing and South Carolina coming to bat as you're watching the winner's bracket edition of the 2018 DYB Majors World Series quarterfinal round on JockJive.com. Landon Walden gets his warm-up pitches in as South Carolina escapes trouble in the top of the first inning, as Walden will face the South Carolina batting order of Ryder Manale at shortstop batting first, P.J. Morlando, the catcher, batting second, Mason Salisbury at third, batting third, Thayer Tavermina at first base in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth, Drew Hayes at second. Cameron Scott, the pitcher, will bat sixth. Walden will get his sign from Lavelle, and the first pitch of the bottom of the first inning is a called strike. Batting seventh, Landon Gomes in right. Hunter Gomes in left, batting eighth. Donovan Johnson in center, batting ninth as the fastball up and in. One ball and one strike. Charlie Meade, Banks Wickersham, and Micah Anderson, the 10, 11, and 12 batters as far as the reserve players. Swing and a miss, and kind of a slider that time. Maybe a foul ball, but in either case, 1-2 now is the count. Umpires for the game, Davin Lovelace from Kilgore, Texas, behind home plate. Rusty Taylor from Hughes Springs, Texas, at first. Grounder over to the right side, off of the glove of Ibert, and also past Hidalgo, as Manale will reach base on the E3. So Morlando will come to the plate with a runner at first and nobody out. Damian Hopkins, the second base umpire from Gaston, South Carolina. And from Albany, Georgia, Joseph Stone at third. Orlando grounds one through the left side on the first pitch for a base hit. So advancing to second will be Manale as 2 runners aboard. Nobody out on the first hit of the ball game for South Carolina. Mason Salisbury to the plate. John Hayes, Perry Morlando, and Chad Salisbury, the coaching staff for South Carolina. Loser will play our previous winner, Florida, tomorrow at 5:45 in a loser's bracket semifinal game. Swing and a miss for Salisbury for strike 1. I'll give you a recap of how both teams got to this winner's bracket quarterfinal as the 0-1. Swing and a miss as Salisbury goes fishing on a pitch in the dirt. No balls and 2 strikes. Manale at second, Morlando at first, nobody out as the outfield straight away for Louisiana. 0-2. Called strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Salisbury as he strikes out on 3 pitches. 1 down here in the bottom of the first inning as Thayer Tavermina to the plate. Louisiana stranded runners at second and third in their half of the first inning, as that's exactly what Landon Walden's trying to do with 2 runners on at first and second in this case. The breaking ball inside, 4-1. Last time that they saw Tavermina 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs against Alabama in that 10-0 4-inning win. As a fastball strike on the outside corner. We'll go ahead and take that scoreboard poker hand there with that 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, the 3 aces, and the 8th kicker for number 8, Thayer Tavermina. A strike on the outer half as the count goes to 1-2. 2 solid teams playing in front of you as far as the winner's bracket ball game on a beautiful Tuesday evening from Lumberton, North Carolina. 1-2. Hit high and fairly well into center as Alexander makes the grab. The throw to third in plenty of time, but up the line as getting into third will be Manale. A better throw would have gotten Manale in plenty of time, but it was toward the left field side of third base, as also advancing is Morlando on the play. So a productive out, as it turns out, for South Carolina. Now moves 2 runners into scoring position for Drew Hayes. With runners going on contact, a single could score 2. Foul ball off to the right side. Drew Hayes against Alabama, 1 for 2 with an RBI single in the first inning, as they had no trouble just absolutely destroying Alabama a couple of nights ago. A strike right down the middle as Hayes in a hole, 0-2. Franklin, Louisiana versus North Charleston, South Carolina. Quarterfinal winners bracket game in the DYB Majors World Series. Field number 5, 0-2. Taken low and away on the breaking ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Third baseman Enzina playing even with the bag for Louisiana. 1-2. Has fouled off to the right side toward field number 1. Ozone, Majors, and AAA World Series all in quarterfinal action today. We'll get some finals throughout the rest of the ball yard as this game progresses. The 1-2 is a check swing. I do not think Hayes went around. They may make an appeal on that. No. Now they will make the appeal, and no swing, says our first base umpire, Rusty Taylor. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll take the 4 deuces in the 5 kicker as a called strike 3 on the outside corner as Hayes goes down on strikes. And just like Louisiana in the first. South Carolina strands 2 runners in scoring position in their half of the first. No runs, 1 hit, an error, and 2 left on base. So we are through 1. No score between Louisiana and South Carolina. Winners bracket quarterfinal. 2018 DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.com. We'll give you that text hotline number here in the bottom of the second inning. James Hardy with you. For the top of the second inning is Dylan Steiner, Landon Walden, and Dan Eibert, the trio due up for Louisiana, as the wind and pitch from Cameron Scott is swung on and fouled off to the right side. 5:45 and 8 o'clock semifinal games for tomorrow. One of these two teams will play the late game tomorrow as far as the winner's bracket for tomorrow. Championship game on Thursday at 11 local time in the morning as the pitch down and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. Dylan Steiner from the right side as Cameron Scott will wind and fire. Low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Be sure to follow JockJive on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, we're at JockJive, and on Facebook, simply put JockJive Sports in the search engine. A foul ball back to the catcher, 2 balls and 2 strikes. We give you scores, schedules, game highlights, event updates, and more. Twitter and Facebook, a great way to keep up with JockJive Sports. 2-2. Downstairs as the count goes full at 3-2. Scott stranded 2 Louisiana runners in the first inning as the payoff swung on and missed for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Scott as there's 1 down in the top of the second inning. Strikeout number 2 for the game for Cameron Scott. Landon Walden, the pitcher, going against the pitcher, Cameron Scott, in his first at-bat. Wind and the pitch. That's downstairs, and we'll get to the backstop. No balls, 1 ball, rather, and no strikes. Louisiana had the day off yesterday, so they could pretty much do what they want to as far as their off day yesterday. Pitch bounced back to Scott as he'll field and tosses over to first base in time. Quickly 2 down. So nobody on base for Dan Eibert. Louisiana winning 1-0 a couple of days ago on Sunday and opening the tournament with a 4-0 win over Virginia on Saturday. Wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss at a late swing that time at a fastball. No balls and 1 strike. Wind and the pitch for Scott. Swing and a miss, almost the same result that time as far as swinging late at the fastball. 0-2. And wouldn't be surprised here if you see Scott once again go with that high fastball against Eibert. 0-2. And this time Eibert lays off 1 ball and 2 strikes. Louisiana, no runs, 2 hits, an error. Pitch. Fastball just outside. Got a good scoreboard poker hand here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and we'll take it as well. Number 23, so the 4 deuces with the 3 kicker. That's the fastball upstairs. Full count now. Really good fight in this at bat for Dan Eibert as he has fallen behind 0-2 and now worked it to a full count against one of the best pitchers that we've seen on this field in the tournament for the majors as far as Cameron Scott. Payoff pitch. Down the middle, a called strike 3 as that will do it here in the top of the 2nd inning. So 2 strikeouts for Cameron Scott. As in the inning for Louisiana, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we are through 1.5 innings to play, we'll have the text hotline number for you during the break. No score between Louisiana and South Carolina. A winner's bracket quarterfinal game. 2018 DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.com. We go to the bottom of the 2nd inning as that number is up there for you to give your shout-out or comment at the top right-hand portion of your screen. JockJive Sports Productions works small events and large, from T-ball to the Toyota Center. Youth sports to collegiate, audio only to a full-scale production for ESPN. We do it all. To find out how we can cover your team or event, email us at info@jockjive.com. Cameron Scott will take a fastball high for ball 1.
Number 0, Cameron Scott.
So Landon Walden, like Cameron Scott, worked out of trouble in the 1st inning, stranding 2 in scoring position. As Scott will get ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Only 3 games today, all across the ball yard for Majors, AAA, and Ozone for quarterfinal play. High pop-up. That's going to go above our heads and out of play. First game, a pretty quick pace, a little over about an hour and 25 minutes or so. As we get our first text in as a swing and a foul tip just behind home plate. And let's find out from 337 area code. Let's go Franklin. By the way, we'll give you those Louisiana coaches here in just a moment. The coaching staff for Franklin. Time called in the 2-2. Clint Judice, Bucky Lovell, and DJ Hidalgo. The coaches for Louisiana out of Franklin in South Louisiana. 2-2 from Walden. Outside on the curveball. So the count goes full at 3-2. So we got, I think, another text coming in, but we'll see. As a grounder over to the right side, a diving stop for Hidalgo as he'll go to first base in time. Check that. I think Pradilla checking in defensively, and is indeed Jeremy Pradilla making the diving stab, going to his left, and then getting Scott out on the throw to first base. Very, very nice play for the Louisiana second baseman. One down for Landon Gomes, the right fielder. Walden fires, grounded over to the third base side. Good recovery for Enzina as he'll throw across the diamond in time. 2 down. 4-5 in a row. Check that. Set down by Walden. 2 more texts coming in. Shout out to PJ and Banks. Go GEAUX Franklin, Louisiana. Team from Cajun Gas and Diesel. Hunter Gomes arrives with nobody on base. We're in the bottom of the second inning as the pitch is popped into left field. Is coming in and making the grab is Wells to end the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning for Walden for Louisiana as South Carolina goes down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. So we're through 2 innings of play. Scoreless between Louisiana and South Carolina as you are watching the DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.com. Couple more texts coming in as we go to the top of the third. Go John David. Shout out to Umpire Nice. Westcott Park staff giving Team South Carolina a shout out. Let's bring home a World Series win. This is a winner's bracket game for Louisiana and South Carolina as Dylan Enzina, the third baseman, gets ahead in the count. 1 ball and no strikes against Cameron Scott. Pitch low, 2 balls and no strikes. The 10, 11, and 12 batters still have to come up. So not quite through the first time in the order yet. 2-0. Lined foul down the right field line. 2 balls and 1 strike. Keep working North Carolina. North Charleston, Carolina Fleet 13U showing up tonight. No Revolution tonight. Go Franklin from Chad Pickens, his wife, and the Morgan City 12-year-old all-star team. A foul ball off to the right side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Go ahead and take the pair of deuces with the 3 kicker there. I believe we also had Steiner that maybe checked into the left field in the last half inning. It's a swing and a miss as Enzina goes down on strikes. 4 strikeouts for Cameron Scott. 1 down. Number 10 batter, Gabe Abear, the right fielder. Let's check out another text here. As a grounder over to the right side as fielding and throwing to first base is Hayes to Tavermina. 2 down. Shout out to PJ, the home run hitter. As quickly 2 down now for the number 11 batter, Carter Fosho, as he will take a strike call. Number 11 batter, as Louisiana has not quite successfully fulfilled their offensive obligations, as Scott with the 0-1, swing and a miss, no balls, and 2 strikes. So Carter Faucheux will step back up to the plate. 0-2 the count and pitch. As to the backstop, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We'll take more of your texts as we get them. Also, we'd like to remind you as far as how you can download a copy of any of our games this week, as the 1-2 is swung on and missed with a fastball for strike 3. So that will do it for Louisiana in their half of the 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on bases. Cameron Scott has now retired 7 in a row. Bottom of the 3rd, no score between Louisiana and South Carolina on JockJive.com. Want to download, if any, game in this week's tournament? They are only $5 each. Just email info@jockjive.com. Info@jockjive.com. Tell us what games you want. We'll send an electronic invoice that allows you to pay by debit or credit card. And the games will be on their way to you. That's info@jockjive.com for a keepsake you'll want to have for a lifetime. Shout out to Team Louisiana and John David Hidalgo from Aunt Monica and Uncle Mark. And be sure to remind us folks out there where you are watching us from. Let's get this Team Louisiana. Mama loves you, Dylan and Zena. Flipping over the lineup card for South Carolina, Donovan Johnson leading off in the number 9 slot against Landon Walden. Strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Walden has retired 6 in a row against South Carolina hitting. 0-1. Lined into the right center field gap as that'll fall down for a base hit as it gets by Alexander in center. As rounding second will be Johnson. The relay to third is not in time. As backing up the play will be Walden, the pitcher. We'll call that a triple for Donovan Johnson, as South Carolina has the leadoff batter at third with nobody out, and the likely go-ahead run 60 feet away for Charlie Meade, the backup. Number 10 batter and also a reserve defender. We'll check the Louisiana defense rather as soon as we can, as the wind and the pitch is high for ball 1. You had Alexander in center. I think there might actually be a new center fielder. Check that for Louisiana. We'll get that to you as soon as we can. The 1-0 to Meade. Fastball in there for strike 1. In fact, I do believe there is a new center fielder. Actually, Gabe Hebert in center field, as that's who the ball kind of got past. That also means in right field, John David Hidalgo in right. 2-1. Downstairs. Yes, downstairs, 3 balls and 1 strike. And that means in left field, it'll be Lauren Wells back into left. Swing and a miss at the 3-1. Full count at 3-2. So you still have Enzina and Judice over on the left side of the infield with Pradilla over at second base for a second inning of work. Payoff pitch. Inside corner on the fastball for a called strike 3. So a strikeout, a big strikeout that time for the first out of the inning as the possible go-ahead run still at third base. As Banks Wickersham will now try and give South Carolina the lead. We'll take your text as soon as we can. It looks as if the home plate umpire for our game, Davin Lovelace, inspecting the bat and appears to be okay. They always check the bats before, especially before the tournament, to make sure that they are complying with DYB regulations. As the pitch with the bunt shown is down right side, and that is a fair ball. The throw goes into right field. That will allow Johnson to score from third. Stopping at second base will be Banks Wickersham. Get that a sacrifice and an E2. Let's call that an RBI as well. E2 allowing Wickersham to go to second, and the run coming home to score in Johnson from third to give South Carolina the 1-0 lead. Second error of the ball game for Louisiana, as now a new pitcher coming in. The original starting center fielder, Alonzo Alexander, will take the rubber for Louisiana and will take this stoppage in play. As South Carolina has a 1-0 lead, bottom of the third on JockJive.com. Sunday starter for Louisiana, Alonzo Alexander, coming in relief. Shout out to Landon Walden from Nancy and Uncle Jules. Let's go, Team Louisiana. Let's go, South Carolina. We love you, Banks and Micah, and so proud of you and your team. Love Cameron and Sarah Grace. Let's go, Team Louisiana from the Lopez's. That's okay, Team Louisiana. Shake it off. Franklin, Louisiana against North Charleston, South Carolina, as Micah Anderson will bat from the right side, as South Carolina will have fulfilled their offensive obligations. As a swing and a miss at the fastball. Coming right out of the gate that time, Alexander with that fastball. Trying to send a message to the South Carolina batters as the count is at 0-1. Bunt shown as it's fouled back our way. No balls and 2 strikes. Tell you what, Alexander throws as hard as anybody that we've seen on this majors field this week. 0-2. And fouled back our way. So you definitely better be ready for the fastball if you're an opposing batter going up against Alonzo, the big Alonzo Alexander. Especially against the smaller hitters that can't catch up with the fastball, can provide a lot of intimidation from the plate. 0-2. Downstairs, 1-2. One of those keys, certainly, especially when Alexander's throwing strikes, is once you get a good pitch to hit, you have to swing away. Cannot wait for the count to get 3 or 4 pitches in as a foul ball back our way. But this has been a solid at-bat so far for Micah Alexander, fouling off the last couple of pitches. Wow, go North Charleston. Great job. Bring home the dub. Still about halfway through, however. So certainly nothing to take for granted at this point. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Pitch in the dirt that time as Anderson goes down swinging. 2 down. So back to the top of the order, and Ryder Manale. 2 strikeouts for the starter Walden. 1 strikeout now for Alexander as Manale takes on just outside. Thought that our home plate umpire, Davin Lovelace, was going to give the strike call, but did not. Actually, probably a good call there. 1-0. That's downstairs. Better be ready there, home plate umpires. The pitch gets away from Lovell, the catcher, as advancing to third on the wild pitch will be Wickersham. Yeah, you definitely better be ready every now and then if you're the home plate umpire, because that, I think, might have actually hit off the shin guard. 2-0. That's inside. In fact, that almost hits Manale. A lot of text coming in. Let's go South Carolina. We love you, Banks and Micah, and so proud of you and your team. Love Cameron and Sarah Grace. 3-0. Fastball outside corner. Let's go Lonzo from Dwayne Pradilla. Matt and Lynn cheering on Banks and Micah and Team South Carolina from Myrtle Beach. Pitch is swung on and missed. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner will go on contact as the runner at third. Alonzo Alexander getting the sign from his catcher. The payoff. That's high for ball 4. First walk for Louisiana pitching as that puts runners at the corners. From North Ladillin, in Zena's family. Good luck. We are rooting for y'all. Good job, guys. Love you, Dylan. So a couple of runners aboard for P.J. Morlando, who has singled so far in the first inning. Pitch on the way, downstairs, 4-1. Shout out to PJ, we love him. Come on, Lauren and team. Louisiana from GG, Paul Bubs as a ground ball into right field for a base hit, as coming home to score will be Wickersham as Manale goes to third. South Carolina extends their lead, now up 2-0 as runners at the corners. RBI single for P.J. Morlando as Mason Salisbury to the plate. Keep working, Westcott. Coach Barfield wishes you well. I'm not going to say the number 7 on the field is Leonard Fournette just yet. 843 area code. Let's give a little bit of time for that, man. Shout out to PJ. We love him. So runners at the corners. 2 down. 2-0 South Carolina for Salisbury, who swings away and grounds one over to the right side for Eibert as he will step on the bag at first to retire the side. So South Carolina gets on the board first with 2 runs. 2 runs on, we will call it 2 hits. 2 runs, 2 hits, an error, and 2 left on base. So we're through 3, halfway home, as South Carolina has a 2-0 lead on JockJive.com.
both teams that could
Micah Anderson into left field for South Carolina,
process.
as both teams have fulfilled their offensive obligations and defensive obligations for the ball game. We'll take some more text from you. As the first pitch from Cameron Scott to Perdilla has popped foul over to the right side. Perdilla actually the number 12 batter, so after this batter, Louisiana will have concluded their offensive obligations. Shout out to Mason Salisbury, way to represent SC, South Carolina. We eat fastballs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 2018 World Series champs, Hartsville, South Carolina. As a strike on the 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes. Scott has retired now 7 in a row and make it 8 in a row on a called strike 3. So good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Perdilla. 1 down, top of the in Reed Lovell, who has popped up to the shortstop his first time up. Come on, Louisiana, y'all can do this. 337 area code. Go number 10, Lauren. I love Aunt Missy. Lovell will take inside for ball 1. Louisiana's catcher popped up to the shortstop his first time up. 2 hits in the game for Louisiana, both coming in the first inning. A bouncer over to the left side for Manaley as he'll throw across the diamond in time. 2 down. So Cameron Scott in full control right now from the pitching mound, as he's had in his stretch of 8 in a row set down 4 strikeouts along with 3, check that, a couple, 3 ground outs. As a foul ball back our way. Have 2, 3, 4, 5, check that, 6 strikeouts and 3 ground outs. As the pitch is swung on and missed at the high fastball for Lauren Wells. Speaking of the go number 10 that we just mentioned, from our text hotline, no balls and 2 strikes. Scott, 1 pitch from ending the inning on the way, fouled off to the right side. Mentioned the 6 strikeouts total for Cameron Scott, almost through 4 complete innings. Let's go Lauren, 337 area code. Scott gets the sign, 0-2 on the way. High fly ball into right field as the catch made by Gomes to end the inning. Landon Gomes makes the catch, and a 1-2-3 inning for South Carolina's Cameron Scott. So for Louisiana, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. South Carolina leading 2-0 as you are watching the 2018 DYB Majors World Series quarterfinals, Winners Bracket Edition on JockJive.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the JockJive YouTube channel as we stream all Dixie Youth Baseball, most youth sports, and high school football in the fall to our YouTube channel. And you'll want to know first what games are coming your way. James Hardy with you. 843 text coming in. Randy Moss on the mound, referring to Cameron Scott. Let's go South Carolina now. Rand U Part 2 for ESPN's 30 for 30, not quite yet ready to be filmed. Pitcher Cam Scott will duck on you if you're not paying attention. Hashtag balls is life. Also, 337, shout out to Dylan Steiner from Meemaw and Pawpaw from Franklin, L.A. Let's go South Carolina from Desmond Brown and the Colleton County All-Stars. Thayer Taver Mina flied out to center his first time up as he'll take the breaking ball from Alexander inside for ball one. South Carolina punched home 2 runs in the bottom of the third inning. Otherwise, it has been a pitcher's duel for Louisiana and South Carolina. Landon Walden started, but it's Alexander that came on in the third inning. Cameron Scott has been dominant so far through 4 for South Carolina with 6 strikeouts. Alexander winds and deals. That's upstairs to the fastball. Hitters count at 2-0. Just 3 hits for South Carolina, but 2 runs on the board. 2 hits for Louisiana, no runs on the board. Fastball strike at around the bottom of the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike. South Carolina and Louisiana have fulfilled their obligations as we are at the second half of this winner's bracket game. Pitch downstairs, 3 balls and 1 strike. Two games tomorrow, semifinal action. One of these 2 teams will be the only winner's bracket team will face a team from the loser's bracket tomorrow. Loser will face Florida at 5:45. 3-1. Called a strike as Tavermina thought it was ball 4. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So at the very worst, Scott will have 2-run lead going into the 5th inning, but possibility of getting the leadoff batter on as the 3-2 on the way from Alexander. Outside with the fastball, ball 4. That is the second walk for Alexander. Runner at first base, nobody out for Drew Hayes, who struck out looking to end the first inning. Go team Louisiana. Let's see here from Steve. Also, Drew Hayes has a Bob Huggins poster in his room. Hashtag Mountaineers. We'll get to another shout out after this pitch. That's offered at and missed on the 0-1. So the count at 0-2 to Drew Hayes. We would like to give shout out to Ryder Manaley and South Carolina team from Uncle John and Aunt Tanya. 0-2. Low for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 teams were scoreless through 2. South Carolina scored their 2 in the 3rd. 1-2 is fouled off. Story so far is Cameron Scott, who's been awfully dominant. No walks and 6 strikeouts. And also has retired the last 10 Louisiana batters in a row. 2 more texts coming in as Hayes with the 1-2 from Alexander. Outside, 2-2. We'll go ahead and take that scoreboard poker hand on the board for you with the 3 deuces and the 5 kicker. 2 balls and 2 strikes with the number 25. Pitches to the backstop as it's outside the strike zone. And that'll allow Tavermina into scoring position on the wild pitch. So now the count goes full at 3-2. Go team Louisiana from Steve, as we mentioned. For South Carolina, go Drew Hayes from Abby, Kobe, and Sydney. I got the rhyming "Come on, who dat?" Shout out to PJ on team, we'll say South Carolina. Go team Louisiana. Way to go Dylan Enzina as the bouncer back to the box as the throw from Alexander over to first base Ibert in time. So 1 down. as Cameron Scott to the plate. Way to go, Dylan and Zena. We love you so very much and are cheering for you and your team. Always thinking of you. Love your dad and in Zena family. Cameron Scott, the opportunity to help himself. Grounded out to second his first time up. Lines it into right field. That's going to get past Abaird all the way to the wall as Tavermina easily scores. Scott to third. He'll stop there. In fact, taking some big steps to third that time on the RBI triple. So he wanted to go for that inside the Parker, but was held up at third. As South Carolina with their fourth hit and now third run of the ball game. Landon Gomes to the plate. Go Team South Carolina from Wizzy in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Alexander will work out of the semi-stretch, we'll call it, as he'll miss outside. Nightfall has descended on Lumberton, North Carolina, as the count at 2-0. Pitch on the way. Fastball inside. 3 balls and no strikes. Shout out to PJ as a pitch inside for ball 4 on the 3-0. Also another pro athlete comparison. Cameron Scott running bases like Deion Sanders about 25 years ago, as time is called with now runners at the corners with just 1 out. Reminder that if you want to download any of the games in this week's tournament, they're only $5 each. Just email info@jockjive.com, info@jockjive.com, and tell us what games you want. We'll send an electronic invoice that allows you to pay by debit or credit card, and the games will be on their way to you. That's info@jockjive.com for a keepsake you'll want to have for a lifetime. New pitcher for Louisiana. We'll tell you who that is after this. Ethan Judice, the new pitcher for Louisiana. As we have more texts coming in. Charleston Revolution Baseball is cheering for South Carolina. Let's go Gomes Twins. Let's go South Carolina from the McKees in Hanahan, South Carolina. As we come back to play, as Hunter Gomes will get his second at bat, flied out to left to end the second inning, his first time up. Infield coming in for Louisiana. Once again, remember, no phone calls will be taken, so don't even think about it out there as far as that number at the top right-hand corner of the screen. So the fastball upstairs for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. North Charleston is title town. 8-time World Series champs, no Revolution or Vapor. New one, 8-4-3 is the pitch inside for a ball, and going to second on the stolen base will be Landon Gomes. 2-0, 3-0 South Carolina with the lead. Could add more as the pitch gets to the backstop, but right back on the carom As we'll go ahead and fix that little camera angle for you. .30 pitch on the way as a strike as the count goes to 3-1 to Hunter Gomes. Team South Carolina keep the pressure on from North Charleston athletics staff. The pitch is inside for a ball as the throw down is not in time. As on the 3-1, that'll load the bases as Hunter Gomes on with his first walk. Louisiana now with the backs against the wall.
Now batting number 24, Donovan Johnson.
Already 1 run in. Bases loaded, 1 out as the number 9 batter, Donovan Johnson, will take for ball 1. Johnson tripled and scored in the 3rd inning. Wind in the pitch for Judice. Popped up foul and out of play. One ball and 1 strike. We'll go ahead and take that scoreboard poker hand right there, the 3 aces with the 4 kicker this time. The higher number of the 24. 1-1. Popped foul and out of play to the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, South Carolina, if they scored 7, because both teams have met their offensive and defensive requirements, could end this ball game, but we're a long way from that. 1-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. First strikeout for Judice as they're now 2 down. So Donovan Johnson 1 for 2. Back to the top of the order in Ryder Manaley, who has reached on an error and walked. Batting from the left side is Judice. Winds and pitches. Fastball called a strike as it hits the knees. No balls and 1 strike. P.J. Morlando is on deck, folks. Defense, Louisiana. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Go Team Louisiana. Proud of you, Ethan Judice, Big Bro, and Brittany. Go PJ Go. Love the Gano family. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Ryder Manaley as he goes down swinging. And Louisiana gets out of further trouble in the 4th. They do score a run. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 3 left on base. So we are through 4 innings of play as Louisiana still kind of hanging around in this ball game, down 3-0 to South Carolina, going into the 5th on JockJive.com. More texts coming in. Let's go Team South Carolina. Westcott staff is so proud of you. AJ says, go Team South Carolina from Berkeley County and Bono Rec Department. Go Mason Salisbury. We are cheering you on from West Palm Beach, Florida. Ryder Manaley enjoys climbing Mount Pleasant in his free time as a pop-up foul off the bat of Ethan Judice, who has grounded into a 5-4 fielder's choice. Let's go South Carolina. and a Let's Go South Carolina watching from Goose Creek. I'll tell you about our offerings on JockJive.com for the football season. As football season less than a month away from college football starting, is a grounder by the shortstop Manaley into left center field. As going to second on the double will be Ethan Judice. First time a Louisiana batter has reached since Alonzo Alexander in the first inning, as Alonzo Alexander will now come up to the plate. Third hit of the ball game for Louisiana. Franklin, Louisiana, North Charleston, South Carolina. The team's being represented on the field presently. As Scott pitches, a weak bouncer, diving stop by Scott as he'll fire over to first. That's not in time, as the South Carolina coaches thought that was the incorrect call. But in any case, a good effort that time by Cameron Scott, as we're going to have one South Carolina coaches come out from the dugout and is going to talk with our first base umpire, Rusty Taylor, about that last play. You're doing great, South Carolina. Keep it up, Steve and Liz. Rally time, Louisiana. Keep fighting. Go Daniel, miss from Mr. Matt. So Alexander with the single. As to third will be Judice. 4 hits in the ball game, actually matching South Carolina in hits, but South Carolina leading where it counts most on the scoreboard. As Hidalgo, check that, a pinch hitter as a bunt to the right side, fielded by Tavermina, who steps on the bag, 3 unassisted on the sacrifice. That is an RBI and allows a runner into scoring position for Alexander as Judice comes down the line from third to score. So South Carolina gives up a run as Louisiana on the board. We'll now also put an out on the board as Dylan Steiner to the plate as he'll swing and miss for strike 1. They have the runner caught between second and third as now Alexander will go back diving into second. Come on, South Carolina, let's bring it home. 304 area code. Put that Cajun spice on them, all about that base. Let's go, Franklin Councilman Dale Rogers checking in. A ground ball over to the right side as Hayes to first base in time. 2 away. To third on the play goes Alonzo Alexander. Let's go South Carolina. AJ, hashtag North Charleston. Come on, South Carolina. Let's bring it home. Let's go Team Louisiana. We love y'all from Baldwin, Louisiana. Go Ethan Judice. That was awesome. Pitch is grounded to the right side for Hayes once again. Going to first in time to retire the side. So Louisiana gets on the board, but does leave a runner stranded over at third. Going to the bottom of the 5th inning. In the inning for Louisiana, they do pick up 1 on 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left on base. 3 runners left on base for Louisiana in the ball game, all in scoring position. As it is South Carolina through 4.5, up 3-1 on JockJive.com. Coming this fall to JockJive.com, SWAC football, soccer and volleyball, Tuskegee football, ACCC Game of the Week, Great American Rivalries, HBCU football, Navarre and Baker High School football, Georgia Military College football, soccer and more from the Gulf South Conference. Check us out often as we are JockJive.com. Smatch 1 PJ from Clearwater, Florida. Hello from Fresno, California. Go Franklin from Luke Spangler. Go Team Louisiana from the Myries.
Number 16, PJ Morlando.
So we flip over the lineup card. Bottom of the fifth inning is PJ Morlando, 2 for 2 with an RBI single in the third. As Judice with a grounder off of the glove at the third baseman Enzina. Into left field is Morlando hustling into second and slides in, and we'll call it a double. Tough play for Enzina on the high hopper down the third base line, as that'll be the third hit for P.J. Morlando, as he now has 3 of the 5 South Carolina hits today. Mason Salisbury, still in search of his first hit, has struck out and grounded out to first as he'll bounce one past the 5-6 hole for a base hit. Advancing to third, Morlando is on the throw home, missing the cutoff man. Salisbury takes advantage and gets into second. So now the bases, runners at the corners, and now at second and third because of that throw home. Let's go and take some more looks at your responses. Bon Temp Brûlée. As far as letting the good times roll, Louisiana. Let's go South Carolina. Yes, Mason Salisbury. Go Diego, go Diego, go. As they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Thayer Tavermina to go ahead and set up a force at every base. So now runners at every base. I'm bringing up Drew Hayes, probably as far as percentage-wise, and let's see if there may be a pinch hitter in this situation. Already a couple of hits in this inning as South Carolina now up to 6 hits for the ball game. 3 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. 1 run, 4 hits, and a couple of errors for Louisiana. And check that, Drew Hayes will come back up to the plate with the bases loaded. Nobody out, and an opportunity to provide some distance between South Carolina and Louisiana. Fastball, strike called. No balls and 1 strike. Cameron Scott so far, the star of this ball game, has allowed just 4 hits with 1 earned run. Also has 6 strikeouts compared to no walks. Fastball outside corner. I mean, you can even see that time. Hayes stepping toward third base. Really had no chance if he did swing to make any sort of meaningful contact on that pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. Pitch. And same result there, a swing and a miss. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Hayes. 1 down as the base is still loaded for Cameron Scott, who has a ground out and an RBI triple in the 4th. Scott 5 innings of 1-run ball as he has a chance to help himself again and takes the fastball for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Scott had a stretch from the pitching mound of 10 in a row set down. Walden also had a stretch of 6 in a row set down. As the pitch gets to the backstop, a late start is to throw home. That is in time to cut down Morlando. And that is the correct call that time. As Salisbury to third, Tavermina to second, and Morlando thrown out on a 2-1 force out. 2 down as that changes the nature of the inning, folks. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Cameron Scott. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Hey, what, that changes things a lot in the inning now. Instead of a 4-1 lead with runners in scoring position, 1 out, it is still 3-1, and one pitch could get Louisiana out of the inning. 1-2, inside. And a great scoreboard poker hand here as we'll go ahead and take the 3 deuces. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs for number 0, Cameron Scott. Outfield playing at medium depth. Infield will play back. Go Reed and Ethan. A bouncer back to Judice as he will shovel pass it over to first base in time. And Louisiana gets out of trouble in the 5th inning. So the bases loaded, nobody out for South Carolina, and they cannot get a run across. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base, as South Carolina has left 9 on base in their 5 at-bats. We're through 5. It is South Carolina 3 and Louisiana 1. Louisiana needs 2 to tie and 3 to take their first lead of the ball game. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the 6th inning on JockJive.com. Eight, 9, and 1 batters for Louisiana due up at the plate. As Scott, looking for the complete game, gets the strike 1 call. Eibert, a strikeout victim to end the 2nd inning. As we'll have time called. Don't forget to subscribe to the JockJive YouTube channel as we stream all DYB, most youth sports and high school football in the fall, to our YouTube channel. And you'll want to know first what games are coming your way. No balls and 2 strikes to Dan Eibert. Scott looking for strikeout number 7 and gets it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Dan Eibert. 1 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Dylan Enzina, also a strikeout victim in the 3rd. That was actually, for Scott, his first strikeout since the 4th inning, as we'll have a hit by pitch apparently coming in and not only hitting Enzina, but also knocking him face first to the ground. Hopefully he's okay. Apparently, that first pitch from Scott, who throws pretty hard himself, came and hit Dylan Enzina around the middle of the anatomy. We'll go ahead and sneak in these 3 texts. Buckle down, South Carolina. 3 up. Well, obviously not going to be 3 up, 3 down. Let's go, boys, from North Charleston, South Carolina. Let's go, Louisiana. Y'all got this. And finish it, South Carolina. All gas, no brakes. So Enzina still writhing in pain as he'll now get up and shake off the cobwebs. As he's okay, as now he's going to tough it out and get the first base. And good sportsmanship from Cameron Scott to make sure he's okay as well. Very, very nice touch of class there. So we'll have time called for South Carolina. And let's see if Cameron Scott will stay in the ball game for South Carolina, probably getting close to the point to where the 48 hours will kick in as far as the next time that he can pitch, because tomorrow is a semifinal round game and a winner's bracket game technically for the winner of this game. So the first things first, in this case for South Carolina, is make sure you get to the finish line on top with the W. So Enzina stays in the ball game as he is now at first base. Tying run at the plate in Reed Lovell, who has popped up to short and grounded out to short as he'll take strike one. Lauren Wells on deck. We have seen double play earlier today as a ground ball, as a pitch down on the ground for ball one. We've got a pretty good scoreboard poker hand here, so we'll take the three aces. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out with the 6 kicker as far as the number 6, Reed Lovell. He'll swing and miss at the high fastball. Will the Louisiana catcher, 1 ball and 2 strikes. No post-game ceremonies because both teams will play tomorrow no matter what. The winner will play tomorrow in a winner's bracket game. Tomorrow's for the loser will be against our game 1 winner. It's a pop-up left side for Manaley, who makes the catch. 2 down. So Louisiana down to their final out as Cameron Scott has been fantastic today. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Let's go, Cameron. Let's go, Team South Carolina. Wes Scott's staff is so proud of you. Ground ball over to the right side. Hayes gobbles and throws and gets Wells out by about a step over at first base. As that'll do it for Louisiana in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a runner left on base. As your final score is South Carolina 3 and Louisiana 1. As South Carolina moves on into the winner's bracket game at 8 p.m. right here on field number 5 tomorrow. And for Louisiana, they will face Florida in a rematch in the loser's bracket game first thing tomorrow at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. So tomorrow's matchups will be Florida and Louisiana 5:45, North Carolina and South Carolina. Winner's bracket game for South Carolina as they have a chance to knock out North Carolina tomorrow and move on to the championship round undefeated tomorrow. A solid, in fact, outstanding performance by Cameron Scott as he goes the distance, allowing just 4 hits, 1 run with 7 strikeouts, no walks, and just a hit batter in a complete game performance. Probably the best pitching performance we have seen all week long. Good game, South Carolina. Let's move on. We love you from Louisiana. Let's go South Carolina and the Gomes boys from Zach James and family. And our final one. Let's go Team South Carolina. Wes Scott staff is so proud of you. So our final score, it is South Carolina 3 and Louisiana 1. As that'll do it from field number 5 for the DYB Majors World Series. A big thanks to our folks here in Lumberton, North Carolina, Dixie Youth Baseball staff as well on hand, and all our folks from JockJive.com, and all of you out there for chiming in and watching us. James Hardy giving you a final good night from Lumberton, North Carolina, as you've been watching the DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.com.